because you could see they're being pushed up. Yeah, if a boob just hangs and it's hanging, like wait.
I can't tell. I just assume that they're real until proven
if you're in public and a lady's talking to you, she most likely has a push-up bra.
Excuse me, I've never worn a push-up bra in my entire life. So back off.
Ken's like, I don't need them with these mamma jammas.
Not with these.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 21 of the Thought Patrol podcast. We've been horribly understaffed this week, so it is just me and Caitlyn.
Yours truly.
Yeah. So, I don't exactly know how this episode's going to play out, because I thought we were going to have more people, but we will give it our best. We might have someone join us maybe a portion into the podcast. We'll see. But we're excited to be here for you guys. Come hang out a bit with you guys. Just talk about shit that kind of happened over the last week. So, yeah. How you been, Keon? How's everything been going with you?
Having a quarter-life crisis.
A quarter-life crisis? That's new.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah. Getting acclimated to school and shit?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, I feel you. It's a.
It's pretty shitty.
Yeah, it's
graduating high school is not at all what I thought it would be. Kind of in a shithole. Working, going to school, coming home, and repeating. Yeah, that's not the funnest thing, but making that money.
Yeah, making that moolah. Much better than going to high school, at least, right?
Damn right.
Okay, I remember that first feeling of freedom when I got out of high school, and well, my process was a little bit different because I went to the military, but yeah, it is definitely what's the word I'm thinking of?
Different.
Yeah, it's
very different.
It grants you you get a lot more freedom. Yeah, it's so nice. You get to set the way your classes are, shit like that. Kind of chill out, do your own thing. Nice.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I just kind of feel like in a rut. So let's just move on from my depression.
Oh man, yeah, I feel you. Just you no longer have time to do fun stuff.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Just
you're completely out of time.
Doing shit I don't want to do 24/7.
Yeah, that sucks. At least you have the weekends off, right?
Yeah. Not next weekend. I had today. Actually, no, I don't even work Sundays.
Yeah. That's a good thing about working with Chick-fil-A. Oh.
Excuse you, please.
Sorry.
We're in
the middle of the recording session, taking a good burp. That felt good. I feel relieved. So, I've been fine. Doing work. Doing work in school. Keeping kind of the same schedule you're running with. We did go and see Nausicaa in the Valley of the Winds.
God, it was so good.
On Monday. Was it Monday?
Yeah,
on Monday, so almost a week ago.
God, it was so good.
But man, that movie was fucking fantastic. What did you like about it, Caitlyn?
I just love that, like, all the Ghibli movies, it's not something that you'll see ever again in the theater. Like, it's just so unique. It's like a breath of fresh air. Like, normally when you walk in the movie theater and you watch, like, a movie, you kind of see, like, cliches and, like, this bullshit you see all the time. But with these movies, like, it's so unexpected, like, whatever you see. And it's very memorable because you're never going to see it again. I mean, I love going and seeing them because it's just, like, it's just so amazing. Their movies are just unbelievably amazing.
On top of being incredibly creative, they're very ahead of their time, too, with both the music, the animation.
Oh, yeah.
Just everything about them just screams production value. And we went to go see Nausicaa in the Valley of the Winds, if I didn't say that already, which was the one, it came out in 1984. And it was the kind of the Ghibli movie. If you know Ghibli or if you've seen Ghibli films before, the most popular one would either be, it's probably Spirited Away.
Yeah,
if you've seen Spirited Away, that's Studio Ghibli. They're basically Japan's Pixar. But this movie, Nausicaa and the Valley of the Winds, is what got them to where they are today, kind of. Well, not necessarily, but in a way. Because it turned them into a company. This movie did so well, they took basically Hayao Miyazaki and Yonebayashi and some of the other directors there, like, okay, we need to take you guys, turn you into a company, and you need to keep making movies, because they do very well. And this is kind of what started that. It's what got them to at least a company. So they were a corporation, which was really cool. So it's awesome seeing the origin of these movies that we've watched over time and come to know and love. And even it's just that alone, it's fantastic. Like you said, very creative. This kind of almost reminded me.
It's very just out there.
Yeah, this almost kind of reminded me of like the Avatar ahead of its time kind of movie.
Yeah.
Very creative environments.
Kind of spoopy.
Kind of spoopy. The idea behind everything being post-apocalyptic and this curse kind of spreading over the land and stuff like that. Just fantastic movie. It's cool because it's this is in the early 80s, like we said, and they had a proactive fucking badass female protagonist, which is cool too, which is not something you see.
A lot of their movies do have, though.
Yeah.
Female protagonists.
Yeah, but that's not another thing you don't see, especially for that time period. There'd be more of like the damsel in distress kind of thing instead of this entirely independent, just strong feminine character that exude. And they're not strong because they have male qualities. They're strong just because they're strong. They still exhibit female qualities on top of being just a badass. And that's super cool to see, especially in a movie that's older. And that's not something you would have seen coming out of the States around that time period, because it just was a different societal view. So definitely super cool just to see all this stuff. They just, I don't know, like we've talked about it, but their movies, they have that kind of Ghibli feel. It's hard to put something to them besides creativity, and they just, again, they exceed like production value. They just look good. They've continued to look good, and I could see them staying looking good.
You're not guilty afterwards.
What? So
I don't feel like Ghibli's relevance comes to the appearance of their shows. I think Ghibli's relevance comes to them being very specific and picky about what stories they choose to tell.
Well, we're joined by Shawn now. he came in like 6 minutes after we started, so he's here, and we'll ask him how he's been in a second. But I agree with you. I'm just saying there's always that like not tacked on, but that final like stamp of excellence that is the animation quality, and usually the soundtracks are very good, although Nausicaa was kind of weird. They weren't like the other ones because it had an 80s synth kind of thing going on.
No, sometimes it had like the 80s synth, and then sometimes it had like the
orchestral,
really badass music.
Yeah, it was so weird.
I don't know, it's really confusing.
Yeah, but it was one of their earlier.
It kind of sounded like.
I understand kind of what they were going with, because it was like almost a post-apocalyptic kind of. I'm trying to think, almost like in the vein of. I don't know if Mad Max came before 84. I don't know when Mad Max came out. It was long before that. So kind of like in the vein of something along those lines, where it's like a post-apocalyptic, kind of got the electronic kind of music going. And I could definitely see where they would pull certain... What's the word? I'm so bad with words tonight. Where they would pull like that... Man, what's that? Whatever. They would take inspiration. That's the word. They would take the inspiration from movies along those lines. So I could see that. But I do prefer the straight up orchestral. Especially like Kiki's Delivery Service, Castle in the Sky. They had some badass scores to them. Oh, excuse me. So it was so cool to see it. We had like a group of 7 people, I think. Yeah. 6 or 7 people. So we were all chilling. This month, October. It's the 1st that we're recording. Welcome to Spookville. We should do a Halloween episode. I wonder what day Halloween falls on.
Like scary shit.
We could read scary stories instead of breaking news. We'll do like a scary, and then I hope maybe it'd be cool if I could get
one. Horror-themed games, horror-themed anime.
Finally, the topic I want.
It'd be cool if I could get the webcam to work. And could wear, we could wear like costumes and shit. But I don't know if I'll be able to get the webcam to work.
Yo, I'm gonna dress up as a caboose.
A caboose? You mean a caboot?
Like a train caboose?
Oh, you can kind of fuck off.
Oh my god. That was
a butt. I don't understand.
A butt.
We were talking earlier, and we were playing a game.
Yeah, we were doing a Let's Play.
And I was on a train.
Caitlyn
I was the one
thought
playing.
the word caboose was kaboot.
Yeah.
Kaboot is not the proper word.
I had a brain for it. Okay. Are we done?
Yeah, we're
let's
done.
Move on.
Okay, we'll move on. We'll leave that.
So what are you dressing up as? Trying to
caboose.
get this image here.
A caboose.
Yeah, just a train caboose.
It's like the head of a train.
No, it's the back of a train.
No, it's the head of a train. No, it's not.
The caboose is the back.
It's the head.
No.
We're all the, like...
we're on Google. No, I think the caboose...
How do you even spell caboose?
It's with a C. I think the caboose of a train...
It's with a K.
Is the back where they hold like the coal.
No,
I think that's the caboose.
It's not a K.
It is a K.
No, it's not. It's a C.
This?
Nice. Good job, Caitlyn. There you go. Yeah, that's not the front of the train. Bitch, you dumb.
The part they traditionally will paint red.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at right now.
It's the part all the cowboys jump on the end.
What's the
Why
name?
are you arguing with the grammar guy about
we'll save the front of the damn train.
The engine? I don't know.
The engine.
All right, well.
Whatever.
We solved that problem real quick.
I didn't know the word. I didn't even know what it was.
That's okay. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry. I sounded literal.
Literal? Let's keep moving. So yeah, fantastic movie. It was cool to see in a theater, and with it being subtitled with a bunch of friends. Really, just fun. I spilled my M&Ms again. I have bad luck when it comes to...
And he dropped his phone.
My phone fell in between the chairs, and because they recline...
We had to stay for a while after.
They go straight to the ground. So we had to, like, almost break the chair out of its spot in order to get my damn phone.
Honestly, it was
funny
hilarious,
as shit.
Yeah.
Also, on top of the fact that we get there... This is after we bought candy at the CVS locally, blah, blah, blah. We get there, and Caitlyn realizes that I have about, from like the tip of my finger to the palm of my hand.
It was about like
a hole with your hand
like
fully extended.
Like an inch and a half.
Yeah.
At least.
No, more than that. But that was like that size of a hole in my pants. Like I could fit my whole goddamn hand in my pants.
Oh my God, it was so
You could
funny.
see like all of my underwear. It was ridiculous, and we realized that. We realized it at the movie theater.
So we had already been to like CVS to get candy,
and no one said anything. And I'm like, Jesus, I must have looked like a hobo.
Yeah, no one noticed.
I'm sure someone noticed.
No, they noticed. They just talked about it as soon as he left behind his back.
I was wondering why that girl
You see
behind
that
us in line
loser
looked
with
at
his
you clearly
dick flopping
strangely.
out of his drawers? That was fucking great.
Oh my!
What was his ass, kind of? Even the kind of have an ass, but it was his behind.
Aw, we're gonna go for a double shot now.
It up on video,
And-
they're posting it on YouTube.
And Kyle has small eyes.
We're going for a triple shot.
Triple shot.
There goes my
His
my,
pride and
yeah, my
humility.
confidence. So we figured that out, and then I basically took off my Captain America hoodie and had to tie it around my waist, like I looked like a
schoolgirl.
Yeah, like a schoolgirl. I was like, "Fuck it, we're
with
here.
them dimples.
We're gonna enjoy this
them
movie." So that was rough,
It was really funny.
but it was fun. It was nice seeing the movie, chilling out with people.
Very good movie.
Yeah, we
2
went with
billion thumbs up.
Tyler, who was the other host of this podcast, and he enjoyed it a lot too. He's seen a couple of the other Ghibli films, so it was awesome. Really cool. Super excited for the next one. I say it every time. Every time we go and see one, I get really excited for the next one. So it's gonna be cool.
Next month, this month for October for Spirited Away, we're gonna have like a whole row.
Oh my god, we're gonna have
Because
so
we're
many
taking our
fucking
parents.
people for Spirited Away.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be cool. We're gonna go see that in English because we are taking older people.
I wonder
they don't
how
have
much
to
it would
read.
cost me to take an Uber down there.
Probably a
Holy
lot.
shit, that'd be like.
It's like what, a 3-hour
Yeah, well, you
drive?
have to find an Uber that's willing to drive you that far.
There are Ubers that go across
Like
the state.
distances? Okay,
Yeah,
I want to
Yeah.
download Uber.
I'm gonna download
Make
Uber.
stupid
It should
amounts
be.
of money off
It's like
of it.
bloatware on your phone. It should be built in because I have it built in on mine.
Seriously, Uber's built in on yours.
Yeah, it's built in on my phone.
That's sad, considering what kind of like a morally corrupt and bankrupt business Uber is.
Oh, I had to enable it.
Yeah, see, it's already like pre-built on your phone. She has to enable it. She doesn't download it. It's weird. How have you been doing, Shawn? How's your week been? I know you're feeling a little under the weather, but
I just feel weird. Mostly, I think my diet's been a little bit imbalanced from yesterday. So I've been like surviving off of like cheesecake and shit, and it's just not awesome feeling.
Yeah, no.
But no, I mean my week was horrible, but my weekend was good. I mean I'm not somebody who enjoys losing time, and I woke up with a dehydration migraine, so I ended up falling back asleep and lost the entire fucking day. I got up at 4, so I was really frustrated with that because I treasure my time when I don't have to be at that hellhole that I work at. And of course, I just lost an entire fucking day. So I basically had like a 1 day off weekend and then sleep. And that does not count for me.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those people that enjoys sleeping. So I don't like that part. But Halloween Horror Nights was really good. I enjoyed that. That's kind of a very personal tradition for me. It has a lot of value. And I can talk about Halloween Horror Nights more later, but I got to do that last night, which I was very happy with. Got a lot of memories flooding back to me over the last 26 years of Halloween Horror Nights, which I've been doing since I was very young.
I'm gonna go so bad.
Oh, I forget you haven't been.
Thing a year.
It's fun. What was I gonna say? Favorite attraction from this year?
My favorite attraction at Halloween Horror Nights every year is the Bill and Ted Show. This year, though, I have to be honest, it was probably the worst one. Like, there wasn't really much of a cohesive story. There wasn't much tying it together. It was more just like a bunch of unrelated jokes. The writing was the worst I've ever seen it. It was still super awesome, and I still very much enjoyed it, but it was much weaker than it usually has been. And I got a pretty terrible dose of news regarding the Bill and Ted Show, which I think is the dumbest fucking thing Universal's ever done. They've washed a bunch of their really popular rides out to try and replace them with new rides that are more, quote, relevant and so on. But they're retiring the Bill and Ted Show. This is the last year they'll ever do it. And something you have to understand, and that show is the primary reason most people go to Horror Nights. Believe it or not, it's not the haunted houses, because you can go anywhere for haunted houses, and yes, the Universal ones have a higher budget, and sometimes they've got better effects and they do really interesting things. But I've been to personal houses, private houses that have done just as much, that have gotten just as creative, that are really, really good. And there's a lot of really good houses around Florida, and other people that give, or even Busch Gardens, does one where they have a bunch of houses, and theirs are more extreme. But the thing that makes Universal worth it is a combination of the original houses that they have, not the themed ones that they get paid to do by shitty movie studios and TV production companies. Like, if I have to see one more Purge haunted house, I'm going to fucking puke. But their original houses are why I go. The original houses and the Bill and Ted Show. And now they're taking away half the reason for me to go. And that's been a huge tradition for me. So that's of a deeply personal nature. It bothers me. Like, some of my fondest memories are tied with those moments in that park and so on. But I'm diverging. I can touch on that later. I had a good time last night and then got home and ate too much cheesecake and passed out and woke up with a dehydrated headache because apparently I didn't drink enough water last night.
Damn.
Yay. But the week's been good. I mean, I saw It. I can talk to you about that. It was fucking fantastic. I have an intimate knowledge of the original series, the new movie, and the book, so I know the differences between them, and I have to say, this is the best adaptation of Stephen King I've ever seen.
Oh, you saw It?
Yeah.
Yes, I did see it. I loved it.
I want to see.
She muted our group chat.
No, I did not.
Yeah, she did. She doesn't like to talk to us. She's too prestigious.
Oh, shut the
She's on this YouTube channel called the Thought Patrol Podcast, and she's just making so much buku bucks working with them. She doesn't even want to talk to us anymore. Right, Caitlyn?
Yeah, I thought like she was in love with me and we were going to be married, and make beautiful angelic children who would rule the world, and then she traded me for this podcast thing. It was terrible. Heartbroken.
It's like, where was that going?
Like recounting.
I don't know. I was trying to figure out as I was going. I figured I tied in with Kyle's theme. It was improv.
Yeah, I think you did a good job. I felt it.
Spur of the moment.
I thought it was good.
You just headbutt the mic?
Yeah, my glasses did.
Oh, okay.
I didn't expect to get that kind of reaction.
I'm sorry, Shawn.
So you were saying best iteration you've seen in the video sense of it so far.
I can explain more why later. I wrote I have a every now and then I get bored and I write papers for Facebook that nobody reads.
I saw it. No, did you see me like it? I loved it. I read the whole thing. No,
you have a secret.
My mom. I don't know, but you're friends with my mom on Facebook, and she's like, man, Shawn's really thorough with his reviews.
Did she like it?
I know she...
she friended me. I think it was to make sure I didn't show up and kidnap you or something and run off with you.
Did she like it?
I have no idea. I didn't notice. She kind of ninjas on Facebook. I've never seen anything.
She's like a stalker. Yeah,
from her.
She stalks.
But I'm always very cautious about what I write involving you because I don't want her going on the Shawn's a rapist thing again.
Oh my god, she's so annoying.
That was pedophile. Listen.
Pedophile.
There's a difference between a pedophile and a rapist. Yeah. Stop looking at cabooses, Caitlyn. We're doing a podcast.
I can't.
Yeah, and make sure you don't tell your mom that you and I were in a conversation where we talked about cabooses, or somehow that'll be
misstrewn.
Somehow that'll be.
Oh man. Yeah. Okay, cool.
I don't blame her. You know, you're her beautiful daughter, and she doesn't want somebody scooping you up and running away with you and turning you into a cult icon or something. You know, cult icons have their benefits. You get laurel wreaths, and they bring you food, and
you get loyal followers.
And then every 5 years, you get to sacrifice a virgin.
Yeah, and they bring you gifts like pig's heads and stuff.
Oh fuck! She got me hard. What did I do to that? I didn't ask for this. You're such a fucking asshole. I didn't ask for this.
You too.
I said, you could sacrifice a virgin every 5 years. And she's like, so you? Shit.
Oh, God, that was so fucking awesome.
Bitch.
I'm so sad I missed that.
Bitch.
Oh, God.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm going to end you.
I couldn't. I'm
going to wake up with a fork in your ear.
Do it. See what happens.
There's hair in my mouth. Ew. I hate that.
It's been a little while since I've been in a relationship, so I'm claiming a born-again virgin status.
Cool.
Okay.
I got the hair out of my mouth.
You got it?
I hate that. It's the worst.
That's what I'm going with.
Cool. I'm glad that at least the end of your week was good. I was going to talk about a little bit of some of the exploration that I've been going. What is that? Caitlyn, pay attention.
Kyle's been exploring himself.
I've been exploring. Now, over the last couple of days, I've been just fucking feeling like shit, really bad shit. And I've stayed home. I've slept a collective of maybe in the last 3 days. I'd say it has to be 40 or 50 hours. Just going ham. I've just not felt good at all.
You know how much sleep I get a day now? 6 hours.
Yeah, I usually get 4 hours of sleep a day because of work. But
6 hours is about what you need.
In my free time, I've just been completely bedridden. I've been watching spooky things to get ready for the month of the spook. So that's exciting.
Who is excited for the month of the spook?
It's beautiful.
Dude, this is my favorite month of the year.
Well, this season is my favorite season because Christmas beats Halloween. But when it starts to get cold,
of course, Christmas
quotations because we live in Florida, and they start bringing out the Halloween stuff. They start playing the scary movies on TV, and then we have November is Thanksgiving where I stuff my mouth, and then in Christmas is Christmas. That's all you have to say. So I'm just so fucking excited because we're getting into that season, the fall season, holiday season.
The weather's like for this season.
So But
Sorry,
in
continue
order
your
to
story.
in order to prepare for that, I've been catching up on some, not as much. Well, one thing is psychological horror, and the other is just straight up spectacle horror. It's not really stories. Well, they are stories, but there's this manga author. His name is Junji Ito. Have you heard of him, Shawn?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did Uzumaki. He did Gyo. I think his most popular work is Uzumaki. Gyo is pretty up there too.
There's still a lot of people who haven't heard of Uzumaki though. The Spiral.
But I've just been going ham on all of those. I read through them, and then I also watched this dude on YouTube who presents like comics, and he reads through them, and he adds like puts the panels up on the screen and shit. But I just love the art. Now, it's a weird because, especially with Uzumaki, the amount of detail he puts into some of the scenes that he draws, because it's basically the city gets obsessed with this spiral, or city town, and then
more like it.
Yeah, and then shit starts to go crazy. It definitely follows kind of the sort of H.P. Lovecraft style, where it's something that feels like this cosmic power, but they don't really go into depth explaining it. And it's more of, I wouldn't say he necessarily, in Uzumaki I think he does, but I don't think he necessarily has protagonists as much as bystanders, and you're more of there for the whole spectacle of the horror because of the shit that he comes up with. And then you're just kind of hoping the characters survive. But I don't really feel like
It's kind of like a combination between Dean Koontz and H.P. Lovecraft, to be honest.
Yeah,
because Dean Koontz is an author that specializes in putting characters in situations that they have no control. They can't impact what's happening. They can't save the day. They can't. If they're going to die, they're going to die. There's nothing they can do. So all you do is watch the drama play out amongst them as they're surviving until whatever it is takes them. Yeah. That's why Dean Koontz has been so successful with his particular brand of horror, is because he's very fond of putting people in situations that they can't do anything about. Whereas most horror is like putting people in situations and they fight their way through it or what have you. And in these situations, you've got an 8-year-old girl versus a werewolf kind of situation. That there's only one winner there. Yeah. Just giving you an example. And then Lovecraft, obviously Lovecraft works with the perversions, madness, and elder gods, and then challenging the pre-established, notions of what exists and how existence functions and changes in reality and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I think one of the ones that kind of stuck with me amongst all of his stories, I like the shorter ones a bit better, though I did like Uzumaki. But I felt like it was just kind of...
He did some Jamishibai stuff, didn't he?
One more time?
Didn't he direct a few of the Jamishibai shorts?
I'd have to see like a picture. I can't get it from name. I don't understand.
Jamishibai is it's a show that has like 5 or 6 like 30-second to like 3-minute shorts.
Are those things that were banned?
No, they're in the olden days, ancient days, you'd have storytellers that would make paper puppets. Okay. And they'd put up these boxes and they would tell horror stories. All right. With these paper puppets. They were done like fables, but they're scary fables. And they were usually to teach a lesson or something like that. And then over time, it kind of evolved into urban legends and shit. And what somebody did was they collected all of these urban legends, ancient myths, and all these different things, and they put them in a show called Jamishibai, which is an old man or a demon in the form of an old man or I don't know what the fuck he is. But the show consists of the premise of is he is telling these stories using paper puppets to a group of children. And then you watch like 5 or 7 little shorts, and then an episode of Jamishibai is over. I think it's on the internet or something like that, but the collected shorts are considered anime. They're on discs. You can watch it on Crunchyroll. I've watched a bunch of episodes. There's like hundreds now.
That's cool.
Of them. And they're all just shorts. They're not in it. You can watch them. They're all like 3-minute episodes. You can just kind of roll right through them. They watch them. They're very popular in like high school anime clubs because there's no any kind of severe nudity or gore. It's mostly storytelling, and obviously it's paper puppet animation, so it's not like you're really going to be breaking any obscenity barriers. but it's really good. And they have all these famous Japanese horror directors that will direct these little 3-minute segments, you know.
That sounds cool. I'll definitely.
It is pretty cool.
I'll check it out.
I watched a lot of it. It's something you can do in bite-sized increments too, but
yeah,
it's pretty good when you want to get a little horror dose.
I think amongst the ones that I looked at, his stories, not the shorts that we're talking of, but going back to Junji Ito, I liked the fault of the Amigaran fault or something like that. That one with like the people-sized holes in the side of the cliff when the earthquake strikes through the town. I thought that was interesting. But I think the one that kind of stuck with me the most, that kind of got me not thinking, but just kind of genuinely freaked out for quite some time, was called The Hanging Balloons. And
that's a story?
What? It's one of his shorts.
I want to get into Spook Season 2. Is that on YouTube?
Yeah, we could watch it after if you want to. I'm down to watch it again. It was really good. But definitely check it out. There's this dude that he like presents these stories on YouTube, and you could like watch through them, or you could read them. You could find them on manga websites where they have like the scans of manga for free. He also has I know you could buy Uzumaki. There's like there's a cover for it, and that has the Amigaran fault in it as well. And I think Gyo is in print as well. You could get Gyo.
The movie's good.
Yeah, I haven't seen the movie either.
You can't find it to read. You can watch. That's how I was introduced to him, was watching the movie. And the movie is very surreal, and it captures all of what makes Asian horror so terrifying, as opposed to the way traditional American horror is. But don't get me wrong. I mean, just like any popular horror style, Asian horror kind of drowned itself a little bit in its themes, but there's still some really good films out there, like the Korean movie White, or that one movie that I can never remember the fucking name of, about the... I can't fucking remember. It's about the spirits that come back through videos or radio waves, and they don't want to live in the land of the dead anymore, so they show up as shadows.
That's what I was doing.
And at the end, like the heroes escape on a boat, and one of them succumbs. But that one was creepy as fuck. There's been some really good ones. They've come up with some really interesting concepts, and then we go and ruin them. The best one I think I've seen in a long time. I liked White. White was pretty creepy.
We don't know.
And Uzumaki is just like makes your skin crawl. And by the end of the film, when you finally understand what's happened, this entire town has been taken by the curse of a god, and that's fucking twisted. The whole way it all plays out and shit.
Yeah, and again, going back to it, damn, that 4.9 out of 10.
Have you ever seen a movie called The Haunting?
Yeah.
63?
Like, not the 63 one, not like the old one. The one in black and white.
I've seen both The Haunting and The Haunting of Hill House, old ones. And yeah.
I'm talking about The Haunting.
It's just called The Haunting, and it came out in 63.
Yes, I see. Okay. There's The Haunting and The Haunting of Hill House. I wasn't sure which one you were referring to, but I've seen them both.
So when I first watched
all
The
four
Haunting,
of them.
I watched it with my dad. Right? There's this part in the movie where it's like a jump scare, and it's not like that bad of a jump scare.
Yeah.
But when I first watched it, it scared me so bad that I cried.
It's one of those things.
The black and white one scared you?
Yeah, and I cried.
It's one of those
things. I've never been
things.
Scared by a black and white movie. I don't know why.
It's one of those things
it's like
where
a jump scare though. Like...
it is and it isn't, because it doesn't follow a jump scare by today's standards. It's more of something where they give you a scenario and they let your mind run rampant.
No, I'm talking about like a part of the movie where it's a jump scare. Like this guy is walking up like the spiral staircase and he gets to the top and like this woman's face pops out and like makes this loud noise.
Straight up.
It's like it's a jump scare from 1963, and it scared the absolute shit out of me.
Oh.
And I cried.
Oh. She cried.
Yeah, I cried. I had to take some Tylenol.
Hey, anybody else makes you cry, I kick their ass. That's what happens.
Yeah, nice.
Nobody makes baby cry.
Shawn, like, I'll beat them up over the internet.
I will. I'm gonna internet beat them up with
I'm gonna
harsh words and
I'm gonna write a paper, tell them how much of an asshole they are.
Yeah. And then I'll put emojis in it.
So if you're listening and you want to get into the season of the Spook, I definitely recommend Junji Ito. I'll put stuff in the description. I'll need to remember that, but I'll put his name and some links to videos about his works in the description. You can kind of see what he does that's different. It is definitely different. He's got a very creative mind. He's just kind of weird because even him in person, like, he's just not a very outspoken person. He's very introverted and stuff. So definitely got one of those minds. But I'll put stuff for it in the comments or in the description below. So you guys, if you are listening, you can check him out. And that will also apply if you're on a podcasting service. I'll put it in that description too, just so you can see his name, stuff like that. I highly recommend it, especially as we get closer to Halloween. Cool stuff. So besides that, I watched Perfect Blue again, which is more of a psychological horror than anything else. But
that's a suspense thriller. I wouldn't say there's anything horrific about that.
I'd say the idea behind it can be scary, especially more today than in the time that it was made, which I think was 96. Was around the time in the mid to late 90s, I think, is when it came out. But the idea behind it is that there's this woman. I don't want to sit here and explain it, but basically the idea of your personality on the internet defining who you are besides who you actually are, kind of, and that personality that you have on the internet in comparison to today. Because in the movie, she was an idol. She quit being an idol to be an actor. She pissed off a bunch of fans, and then she has basically this hallucination where her perfect self, being that idol, or the part that she displays to the community or to the public, running rampant. And there's just, again, it's more of a thriller. It's not, I wouldn't say there's jump scares. It's just very suspenseful because you're kind of trying to figure out what's going on. Especially some of the scenes later, there's some, especially that screwdriver scene, there's some crazy stuff that happens later in the film. But it's really short. It's like an hour and 30 minutes. I think you could actually even find it on YouTube. But I'd recommend that because it does apply to today, where we are today, because you could see it happen today. Because when we post on the internet, right, when we do stuff on social media, a lot of people don't recognize that what they're seeing is all the ups of someone's life, right? They're never seeing, usually, unless you're like a basket case, you're trying to plead for like stuff like that.
That's the most of the people I follow on Instagram.
They usually don't post their downs. But again, a lot of people.
I talk about how awful things are.
Okay, well, you guys are I'm talking in generalization.
I get it.
Because throwing down, I'm trying to say something, trying to make a point. But you always see someone's ups, and a lot of people don't necessarily realize that because a lot of it's happens subconsciously. There's not someone telling you that, like, this is only the best of this person's life. Are you okay? She's just like sitting back in her chair, like about to start snoring. And it's just, it kind of goes along that I like that it can be applied to today's situation that we're in with social media being as prevalent as it is. I don't do much social media. I don't know how much you guys out there that are listening do, but I think if you sit down and watch it, it's a short watch compared to normal movies, and just kind of keep that eye in frame when you're watching it. I think you could definitely pull something out of it. It's very interesting, and but if you don't like titties, I'd stray away from it. There are titties in it, but
I don't remember that.
Yeah, there's like a whole somewhat, I wouldn't say rape scene, but there's a whole somewhat rape scene that happens. It's fucked up. But remember, she goes to be an actress, and they convince her to do kind of like a porno shoot kind of thing.
Yeah, I remember her being taken advantage of.
But she was definitely naked. I just watched it like 3-4 days ago. But
there's a dark, seedy underbelly to the movie, film industry, to Hollywood, and even how it kind of intersects with porn, for that matter. Yeah, she was definitely a victim. I felt for her even after she ended up not quite being the antagonist we thought she was. But that's not entirely her fault. There was a lot of Hitchcock in there.
Yeah, and even it's like one of those movies where even at the end you don't feel like necessarily it was a good ending, like in the way that everyone lives a happy life because of what's happened, and that's something that will stick with her. But it's definitely a good film. Satoshi Kon does a very good job with the movies he makes. I thought Paprika was really cool too. What was that other one? It was Paprika. There was Perfect Blue.
My butthole.
There was one more that was somewhat popular. That I forget what it was called.
My butthole.
Your butthole is popular, though. Let's be honest.
Oh shit!
Whoa.
Got him. Damn. So just definitely, if you're trying to get into the feeling of the spook, I also watched a bunch of fucking stupid, like dark internet stories kind of shit just to get in the mood.
Oh God.
Spooky season. It's
Spooky,
What they used to call it,
skeletons and shivers
What was
down
it?
your spine.
The internet horror stories. You remember? It was a fucking name they used to call.
It was like a show on TV.
Creepypastas.
There's
Creepypastas. That's it. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, creepypastas. Although those are, I've read some decent creepypastas. I remember.
Like what?
Wait,
What? Name one
Listen.
decent creepypasta
No, there
that
was-
wasn't
there was-
completely retarded.
I remember one that I actually stole for school for a project.
How you
It was called Pupa. No, it was not called Pupa. I know what
It
Pupa
was
is.
called FIFA. It involved soccer.
No.
There was a dead guy.
Fuck, wait.
Was it-
A lot of them are shitty. I'm not gonna lie, because they're oversaturated and they end up being
when
stupid.
creepypastas like first started to come out though.
there were some
decent
decent ones. I forget what it's
But
called.
now I'm sure it's
Because then
But-
they were based off of urban legends. It was before people started making shit up about the pubic
yeah.
hair
Well, we're
that
ta-
terrorized the toilet.
what's up? Like I don't know where you're going. There was one I remember like there and I watched it on YouTube. And it was like a guy reading it and he like
Remember when Cry used to read them?
fuck.
Yes.
You
Yeah,
remember when
and
Cry
like you
used
remember
to
the
read?
one he read? It was called Symmetry.
That was the one with the kid like cut
And
off his eye,
He like scooped out his eyeballs.
and then he cut off the thing,
Yeah,
the thing that connects the eyeball to
that
the
one
brain.
kind of freaked me out.
It was nasty because he put noises in there too, and I'm like, Cry, you villain. Yeah, that shit got me because when I was a kid, I was even worse about the
There
whole
were-
body horror
there was a-
horror stuff. What?
There was that one too, and
Oh,
it
you
was
hate
like,
Cronenberg.
how's Cronenberg?
Sorry. Go ahead.
Thank you. It was that one that was like the woman that stands outside my house or something.
Oh yeah, wait, I think I yeah.
It was
with
also
like
one
the
that Cry read.
with the family and like the father and the daughter.
Yeah,
I remember that one. Those were good.
I mean, they were good when we were kids and we were scared of everything.
Yeah, I was
Well,
scared.
that's
of
because
I'm
they
so
were
scared of everything.
legitimate urban legends then, but they stopped being. I mean, a lot of them were stories before they were internet sensations. They were stories that somebody just put on the internet. The creepypastas are supposed to be urban legends of an internet generation, but they're just kind of they kind of got dumb after a while.
Yeah, but
Until they turned into like, I mean the horror equivalent of a Watch Mojo video.
that was good.
Do you remember
I like
the
that.
what was that one with like the son that came home? Or there was that one where the kids were hiding in the jungle gym, and there was that hobo that was like trying to grab them, and they got like two of the kids. But it wasn't anything like supernatural. It was just something about like a real life situation. Well, it wasn't real, but like something that could actually happen. And
I read that to my
kids being
friends.
terrorized.
Fuck, I forgot what it was called. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Cry had some good creepypastas that he read.
Like,
he did a good job editing them together too.
2014,
Yeah, that was a long time
2013
ago.
Cry.
It's crazy to say that was a long
What the
time
fuck
ago
has he
too.
been doing recently anyway?
Streaming. All I
He
see
streams and then he plays like shitty games that he never finishes. It's really sad, actually. I used to watch Cry because he used to play like The Walking Dead all the time, the Telltale game.
Oh
And
yeah.
I'm a fan of Telltale games.
I think that's what kind of.
Like the downfall of Cry and Cinnamon Toast Ken.
How dare you?
I never watched Cinnamon Toast.
Hey, look, I love both of those guys. All right, I'm a diehard supporter, but even I admit
What
that
the
they're just
fuck's-
not
I
able
love.
to do
I don't know
what they
why.
used to.
I just love like watching him play The Walking Dead.
What the fuck's going on with all this people dyeing their hair? Shit.
Who
There's
died
something
there?
behind it because I saw a picture. Cinnamon Toast Ken did it.
Markiplier.
Oh,
You'd
they
probably
did that
bleached
for
it.
That, dude. That's old news, but that was all for a charity thing.
He said,
Oh,
What I like about
old
Ken
news.
is Ken's one of the few YouTubers. I mean, and he
Stop.
associates with a whole
Sorry.
bunch of Mark and Cry and Cry keeps his shit deeply personal, but Pewds is an
I still don't
open
know what that
atheist.
dude looks like.
and Mark is a fairly open atheist. He
How'd we
tries to
get to
respect
atheism?
things, but well, I'm
I
coming to
hate
it.
Markiplier.
Ken
Like,
is one of the few
so much.
people. You what? I'm sorry.
I can't stand Markiplier.
I don't like him
Oh,
either.
well, my point is that, and I always
He's a good guy.
admire this from anybody who dares to challenge the norm. But Ken, whereas he doesn't flaunt his beliefs anywhere, he's fairly obviously like openly Christian, so he doesn't do certain things in his videos. He doesn't play certain types of games. He doesn't, and when he does, he's like, "Oh, well, I wasn't expecting that. That's a thing that just happened." But I don't know, man. He's so kind of soft core compared to the other guys, and he's not afraid to be that way. I think that's more the thing that impresses me about Ken than anyone else. Is if his channel dies, his channel dies. He's not willing to change how he does his content for views. He's not willing to change it to even try. And he's like, I can do another career. I've got backup skill sets. I'd rather do this. But the way things have evolved, if I can't do that, I'm going to do things my way until I can't do them anymore. And that's something that I think that's where the whole Christian thing that I was bringing up and his other stances that he takes. I think it's not often that you see a YouTuber or any celebrity for that matter that is willing to be unabashedly, stick to their guns, so to speak.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, I
think that's why I'm impressed by him. At least is he'd rather stay true to himself than lose that for the sake of something else. And I don't know, that's something I like about him. Whatever.
That mumbled off. All right.
I don't know why I brought that up, but I respect Ken even if he isn't going to make it. And I'm worried about the old guys, man. Ken, even PewDiePie, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to...
PewDiePie will ever die.
All that shit with PewDiePie just like...
All right. We're running over here.
Where were we going anyway?
That was the... I don't even fucking know. Check out Jujito. Check out Satoshi Kon. I'll put stuff in the description. Good content.
Check out my Instagram.
Especially, it's not stuff you'd see often. It's not like I'm recommending you to see the new...
Hot Kyle nudes.
It's not like I'm recommending you to see the new
just passes that by.
Horror movie or whatever. These are like
people that watch our show. They're like, "Oh my god, hot naked Kyle pictures. Let's go to Instagram."
Yes, and then I check them out because it's creatively horror, which is nice, and I think it would genuinely surprise you how interesting some of these comics are.
Yeah, and look up Jamishibai. I think you'll like it. They're ultra shorts, but they're really interesting how they work. I believe that is on Crunchyroll.
I'm gonna try and put as many links as I could find in the description. So, moving on. Well, that was our intro. Fucking an hour into the podcast, but that's okay because we don't have a very lengthy main topic. I'd say because not much has been going on in gaming.
Oh, real quick, I'm sorry. I think it's Yamishibai, not Jamishibai. I think I'm just...
Actually, I think I have seen those. Is like the picture like a hand on like a table or some shit like that?
The pictures are all weird and they all almost have nothing to do with what
I'm talking about for like the like how every anime on Crunchyroll has one picture for it while you're searching. Remember. I think I might have seen something like
that. I think it's an old man's face, but it might be the hand.
All right,
because it is puppets.
Oh, I think that hand was like Samurai Ghost Tales or something like that. Something else. All right, that was our intro. We're glad that you can all tune in and hang out with us. Although you've already been doing so for an hour, so we appreciate all of you. Just want to keep that in mind. Let's go on to some housekeeping real quick. Just get this shit out of the way. We have a Discord. If you do want to come hang out with the hosts, say hi, show us some stuff, do whatever, chill out with the community. There is a link for that in the description. Feel free to leave a comment on any of the topics that we discussed in this podcast. If you have some type of horror stuff you want to share with us or some other things, go ahead, leave a comment. If you do like this content,
dick pics.
If you do like this content and you would want to see more, feel free to subscribe either on the podcasting services or come by, hang out on our main channel or main home base, I'd say, is YouTube. We do put up Let's Plays. We have other content there. You can also follow us on Twitter, where we do keep updates up for just everyone, all the hosts, when you can expect content from us. If you do really like us and you are willing to go above and beyond the rest, an iTunes review would definitely be appreciated, or on the service that you are listening to us through. I don't know if Google Play does it, but I know Audioboom does, and iTunes does. I do know leaving an iTunes review is a royal pain in the ass, though. So we do also have
Why is that?
It's just because you have to download iTunes, and iTunes is a piece of garbage program that if you don't need it is a piece of garbage. It's annoying. We do also have a Twitch. There will be links to all of this in the description below. We do try and get more content to you guys. Again, I've been feeling like shit lately, so I haven't been doing much. But we did stream some PUBG earlier in the week. There's a highlight video for that on YouTube and stuff like that. So if you guys want to see more, I'm just giving you more avenues to do that. We don't have a mailbag. If you do want to send us questions that we could answer on the show or discuss, you can do that through Discord or send us an email or at us on Twitter with the hashtag. I always forget what it is.
TP mailbag.
TP mailbag. With the hashtag TP mailbag, you can add us on Twitter.
God, you hunky.
We'll compile them for next week, and we will answer them on the show. So, housekeeping's done. Thank God. I know that's always that little boring bit that we have. And we do have our Germany or Florida segment now. So we're going to do a curtain call. And so now this is the interesting part, right? So the article itself is a machete-wielding man charged after a crazy chase over chips. And now you heard that correctly. It was in fact potato chips. But I have no idea what machete sounds like. So, Shawn, you might have to do that because I can't make that noise with my mouth. Well, she said.
Okay.
So, Caitlyn, what do you want to do?
Anchor,
as always. I could be a reporter. Shawn, are you okay with being Danny Trejo?
Being Danny, yes. A terrible version of Danny Trejo.
I want to hear.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
You just sound like a ridiculously stereotypical Mexican accent. And then we'll play.
I don't even know if I can do that without practice. I can do any accent with practice, but I just wrote this on the fly. I did not anticipate anybody being able to do it properly.
This is going to be interesting.
Actually doesn't have a stereotypical accent. He's got a lot of South Californian in there. He's got some strong Latino vibes with it, but he's got his own like South California. There's some surfer stuff in there. Like his voice is very unique in how he talks.
Wonderful. So it's going to be a royal mess.
An actor's impression on it. I like Danny Trejo's voice. It's unique.
All
He's actually one of the nicest guys in Hollywood. And he always plays like these brutal fucking characters. The guy's like the nicest dad ever. Like his kids talk about how like he never hit them. He's always been, ever since he got out of prison, he's been like the nicest, like most Catholic dude ever.
All right. Well, I'm excited to see what you got for us then.
I am not.
So, Caitlyn, you're the anchor. Oh, man.
Ready?
Yeah.
Oh, God. All right.
Get us in here, Caitlyn.
Yeah.
Caitlyn, you do that one more fucking time. I swear to God, we will do a whole episode and I will cut you out of it.
Hold on.
Oh, hold on.
I'm holding on.
Caitlyn's got her whole face in the fucking pop filter.
All right, I'm sort of ready.
Okay. All right, Caitlyn, don't even stop. Don't. Oh my God, Caitlyn.
All right, ready.
Would you stop resetting and just read the shitty article?
Whoa! Shawn, you just called your article shitty.
He said it himself.
Okay, ready?
Caitlyn.
Good evening, and welcome to Channel 69 Evening News. Tonight we have quite the sordid tale involving potatoes, bladed tools, and a passionate retired federal. What's going on there?
Federale.
Okay, I'm just gonna continue. Here with us is our more inept, intrepid reporter. Kyle, take it away.
Good evening, Caitlyn, and thank you. I'll ignore that little slip-up and instead embrace the admiration I just know you have for me. Tonight we're interviewing a Mexican federale. I don't know what the fuck that means.
I'm sorry. That's so loud.
Oh, man.
I'm so sorry.
Who loves his potato chips enough to have himself in trouble with the law. Here with us to share his story is Mr. Danny T.
So I was eating lunch in an outdoor patio.
Wait, keep going. Don't
That was
stop.
good.
That was good.
That was good.
Keep going.
When these two suspicious types rode up by my table on motorcycles, stealing my Doritos on the way by. So I elbowed the third rider off his bike while snatching his Uzi with my other hand.
Cabron. Wait. Stealing chips, elbowed a motorcyclist, and Uzi, huh?
So these bikes, they stole my lays, they rode off on a stolen Apache gunship and were ascending. So I used a nearby Lamborghini as a ramp to get my bike in the air while unloading the Uzi at the chopper's fuel tank. The explosion was huge, but I flew through the fireball on the bike untouched because I am Machete.
Fireball Apache? What the holy fuck are you going on about?
Anyway, the perp who had my Pringles jumped out of the chopper and was escaping on foot when I Uzi ran out of bullets. So I dropped it and pulled out my trusty twin war machetes, driving the bike with my thigh muscles and amazing sense of balance alone. As I rode past him, I cut off one of his hands.
Wait, you cut off someone's hands because he stole your... Wait, what kind of chips were they?
So he fell over screaming and tried to eat my Fritos. I cut off his other hand and decapitated his ass so that he couldn't eat my bugles, and then I was arrested, but at least I saved my Funyuns.
There you have it, folks. Whatever it is or was. I'm gonna go play my Nintendo Switch now. Back to you, Caitlyn.
Thank you so much, Kyle. You never cease to amaze me. That sounds like a man who loves his chips, though his grasp of branding is a bit loose. Tune in next time when we find out more about Jon Snow's life for incest porn.
I think it's love. Jon Snow's
Love.
love.
Incest porn. Goddamn autocorrect.
Sure. Just change
now
that
you change it. She's good enough to put penises later on in the script, but he won't fucking spell check his work. Oh, man.
All right.
Cool.
Very good.
So we'll come back to the answer after our box office tops.
You having some trouble getting it out there, Kyle?
I need to get what? I always have trouble getting it out there,
I figured
Kim.
as much.
All right. So at number 1, we have Kingsman: The Golden Circle, which made $49 million in its first week, with a budget of $104 million. So that is awesome.
It already made almost half its budget in the first week.
Yeah.
That's
amazing.
amazing.
I love the first one so much. I'm super excited to see the second one. Everything about it just looks like a fun watch. And that's what I love about the Kingsman franchise so far. They just look like super fun things to sit back and go with like a bunch of people and watch movies with. Yeah, it has. At number 2, we have It, still up there with $37 million the past week, with a total gross of $273 million, with a budget of only $35 million. And this was its third week.
Bang!
So making so much fucking money. As Shawn said earlier,
yeah, Sophia Lillis really is someone to watch out of that movie.
Yeah, I heard that.
I'll talk more about that later.
Yeah, I heard everything about that movie was just fantastic. Yeah. So super cool to see it. It's the highest grossing rated R film in its time, which is cool. And just awesome to see that such a beloved franchise is getting like a really good adaptation to it, which is awesome. So, at number 3, we have the Lego Ninjago movie, don't ask me why, with $23 million in its first week. And for some reason, its budget's not here. So, I don't know exactly what that is.
Didn't have budget.
But
8 years after Ninjago's been relevant.
Yeah, I don't know whose idea this was. They reckon the rest of the Lego movies did well, so why not just keep pulling from that bank that is children and their parents. So, I mean, it's doing well. I mean, to be number 3 in its first week, especially in the same week that Kingsman came out, which did pretty well in its last running. So, at number 4, we have American Assassin, which grossed $8 million, It had grossed 28 million so far in its second week, and its budget was 33 million. So it should make its budget, but it's sad to see it's so far low on only its second week. So definitely not a repeat watch, which is crazy. Caitlyn, get off the internet. At number 5, we have Mother with not capitalized. I don't know what this movie is about.
Has anyone seen Mother?
Nope, and I have no want to. It's
see it.
grossed $4 million this week. It has a total of $14 million, and its budget was $30 million. It's on its second week, so I don't know what the hell that is. I heard that it was weird, but doesn't it have Jennifer Lawrence in it?
Yeah,
I'm seeing it.
Oh my god,
that's all you had to say. I'm seeing it.
it has a 67 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wait a second, 67.
A couple's relationships test when
what is it about?
Guests arrive at their home, disturbing their tranquil existence.
Is it like a scary movie, or is it like a drama?
It says drama / mystery.
Ooh.
I want to see it.
Do you know?
Not in theaters. I don't think it's worth going to theaters.
Me neither. We didn't even go see it, and it probably was worth going to see it in theaters.
We're probably not going to see Kingsman either.
We haven't seen a movie in theaters that was like an actual
movie
Showtime thing.
Last thing we saw was Wonder Woman.
Oh yeah, we saw Wonder Movie. We saw Wonder Woman in theaters. That was pretty good.
AKA the only good DC movie
so far.
I saw Spider-Man in theaters too.
Oh yeah, well you saw it. Went on a date.
I saw it.
How was that? What'd you think?
So
it really doesn't fucking matter at this point because it's so late.
No one really gives a shit anymore.
Everywhere.
But
you at least enjoy it.
Yeah, I thought it was a good movie. It was fun. It was like nice, but I don't like the
kid.
The Spider-Man. Yeah, I mean Tobey Maguire. Never gonna be Tobey Maguire. Sorry, just not possible.
How do we constantly see eye to eye on so many?
As long as we don't count
Oh
Spider-Man 3, right?
Yeah.
This is like Destiny.
Okay.
Destiny. Shawn.
Wait, did you see you were on a date with someone else?
Oh shit!
Oh no!
I thought we had
this cat's out of the bag.
Don't worry, he's not really worth it.
Oh shit! Yo, what's that thing? TMC.
I believe in
TMC. Us. Caitlyn, what can you say on your recent alleged thoughts about going out on that date with that man that I don't know the name of?
I'm not gonna say it on the internet, but yeah, he's
Yeah, as long as no one knows his name, it doesn't
not
matter.
Quite worth it, you know?
Oh shit!
Not at all.
So, Caitlyn, what about these other alleged accusations that he's pregnant?
That is true.
With a calf.
Shit, I knew it. Put it in the tabloids.
All right.
I can see it now.
Half man, half camel baby, born to a man who wasn't worth it. Shawn is much better.
Shit.
You're right. He's kind of nothing special, you know.
Damn.
All right, let's move on.
Straight up destroyed that man's life.
life.
Yeah. Well, that's what we do on this count. We
could talk about mine, but it'd be more depressing.
I think I'm probably the most depressing amongst the three of us.
You should have been here for the opening, Shawn.
Oh yeah. What was the opening? I don't even remember.
I was like quarter life crisis.
Oh yeah, quarter life crisis. I like it. All right. So those were the movies of the last week. Give you an idea of what's doing well in the box office. Do you want to speculate or speculate? Do you want to talk about it, Shawn? Give your opinion.
Sure. Well, a lot of people like the original.
Sure. I'll do it.
You have 3 incarnations of it. You've got the novel, you've got the original miniseries, and you've got this new movie. And each one does certain things right. Like the novel, of course, is the canon story. There's a lot of stuff that you can write that you can't portray on film, you know, and things that might hold potency or value in a novel story may not carry over so well or translate well on a film medium. And the things that didn't translate well, they kind of left out, or they passed on that role or that responsibility or that plot movement to another character or displayed it in another way, which I think was brilliant. Without putting any spoilers out there, because it's still relatively new, they really did a lot with Beverly's character. They made her a lot stronger. She's the only legitimate female role in the movie, really. or the story in general. And before she was kind of a compliment to Bill, who's the guy, the leader, the de facto leader of the Losers Club, and now she almost exceeds him in that capacity. Beverly, that's hilarious. Beverly's a stronger character now. And when she comes into the film, you can't take your eyes off of her. She's just that entertaining to watch. She's a really powerful character. The new Pennywise is excellent, to the point where he makes Pennywise a legitimate threat, whereas it was kind of different in the original series. Like, Pennywise was scary, but the concept of it wasn't so frightening, and now the two things are indivisible. They also show it taking other forms. But the story is really good. The only complaints I have is I really would have liked to have seen them do more with two of the Losers Club, Mike, who ends up having a stronger role in the second half. I would have liked to have seen them do more with Mike, and I'd like to have seen them do more with the Jewish guy. I can't remember his name right now, but he didn't do so much besides be a whiny little bitch. I'd like to see him have taken a stronger role. It seemed to center mostly around Bill, Richie, and Beverly. But outside of that, the movie was damn near perfect. Like, I walked out of that absolutely loving it, and I can't wait to see what happens in the next incarnation. And the one to watch in that movie is Sophia Lillis, because she is just fucking mind-blowingly good. Like, she's going to be the next It girl in Hollywood. That movie is going to project her places, because she's just that good. She's really, really good. She's the best actor in that entire show.
Cool.
It's excellent. It's the best Stephen King translation by far. You read the thing I wrote on Facebook, Caitlyn, so you kind of have an idea, but with King, his stories are... I always get your name.
It's fuckface.
I misspelled it once because of autocorrect. Sue me.
How do you spell it?
I have stayed loyal to you.
How do you spell it?
How do you spell it?
The C.
Okay.
Okay.
I've been loyal.
Stop trying to change the subject. How do you spell it?
Goodness.
How do you spell it? How do you spell it,
Sean?
Shawn?
The C. What's the rest?
What's the rest, Shawn?
Caitlyn. Can I move on now, please?
Did you say I? Shawn, did you just say fucking I?
You said C. You said Ceitlyn.
Oh, I didn't say that.
Yes.
She's like about to cry.
That was close.
All right, you got it right.
All right, keep going.
Ding, 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 ding.
Lord.
What does she win, Johnny?
I've only seen a handful of decent King movies. In the first 30 years of his movies, but you're talking about like the 70s and the good majority of the 80s, the movies were either like these slow, plodding kind of things like The Dead Zone, or you had some iconic classics where if you go back and watch them now, I'm not impressed by them, but I can see why film-wise they've been deemed for preservation. Carrie was pretty good. Firestarter was all right. Christine was a joke, but it still has its fans. They're spotty at best. The Shining holds off as this legendary piece, but it takes huge departures from the original book. Whereas the TV series hewed much closer to it, but it wasn't nearly as entertaining. So, his older movies are classics, but I don't find most of them to be entertaining. If there are a few here and there where I can see that they were good, but I don't list them as movies I would ever want to watch. And then the last 30 years, the more modern period where they've been doing movies of his books, they're always garbage. The only ones that I've enjoyed were both based off of short stories or novellas. The Green Mile was good. That was a series of tiny novels glued together. Was a Graveyard Shift. Was like classic midnight, horror schlock, but it was super fun. His things like Dreamcatcher and The Dark Half and all these other novels that they tried to turn into movies didn't work because they're so dense that you can't fit the story into a 2-hour time frame. But the short stories have enough material to fit a 2-hour time frame, which is why his short stories tend to make better movies. Shawshank Redemption was a short story, So with this book, it's 1,000+ pages. Instead of trying to cram it into a movie, they did the logical thing. They separated the childhood segments and the adult segments, and they're telling them in chronological order. First movie's the childhood, the second movie's the adult. It changes some things because the book goes back and forth between the two. It does like a Pulp Fiction thing, and it jumps around chronologically speaking. But outside of that effect, I don't think you're losing much in terms of drama or value by doing one and then the other. And I think Machete, the guy who directed it, he did an excellent job with it. The only problem, I have one tiny problem with the movie, is that element with some of the characters just didn't quite get enough time. And they did one thing with the female lead near the end that, while I understand why they did it, I think you would have had a stronger character arc if they had done something a little bit different with her. But her story in that movie was essentially done by then, so I get it. They were kind of shifting focus. But I still think, even with the errors or the things they could have done better, what they did do wasn't bad. So I thoroughly suggest everyone who loves it or likes horror movies to go see it, because I'm a diehard horror fan, and I hate most horror movies. Most of them are garbage. They're garbage. I can name the horror movies I would suggest people to watch on like one, maybe two hands tops. So I finally have another one I can add to it, and it's been a long time since I've seen a horror in theaters that was worth watching.
Cool. I don't know if we're gonna have time to do
11 out of 10 banana peels.
Oh shit!
Banana peels.
Banana peels. That's a fucking work hazard, man. What are they talking about? Some chocolate? You can wait till we finish. You're trapped in here till we finish the recording. No. Stop rubbing yourself all over the microphone, kid.
Wow.
Oh my god, you can't.
Now, our listeners, there's going to be a whole new subsect of listeners that are going to be attaching themselves to this podcast now. They're going to have the Caitlyn fans. They're going to be waiting just to hear the rubbing of the microphone.
Oh, shit. It's the ASMR channel. Stop, Caitlyn. You are unruly, and you'll be put in timeout.
Do a bit. I'll eat my chocolate.
He said, do it, bitch. No. We're almost there. Look at it. We're
going to have a fan fiction section.
I want some chocolate.
All right, let's read some news.
If I had some, I have some chocolate cheesecake.
Oh shit!
Of course. Are you offering?
Send it in the
For
mail,
you, baby. Anything.
So let's read some news.
Potato.
Not much happened in the last fucking week. So I got a couple little things that I found to be somewhat interesting that we'll go over. And I don't even know if we will have time to do our main topic today. We might have to put it off, and our main topic will be preparing for spook time.
Yeah, that'll be our...
Since we talk so much about horror. So, first article. You want to read that for us, Cal?
Not really.
Okay, I shall read it. So,
thanks.
We have Skyrim getting a tough-sounding survival mode. The beta is out now on PC. I know a lot of you don't give a shit, but this is interesting for one reason, and I'll talk about it after. So, Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Special Edition is getting a new mode made through the game's Creation Club system. That's the key word. The survival mode makes the game more challenging, principally with three main elements: hunger, fatigue, and harsh weather. Hunger will impact your stamina, along with your ability to use most weapons. As you become hungrier, your total available stamina will decrease, represented by a dark region inside the stamina bar, Bethesda explained. Here are some other takeaways about Skyrim's survival mode. Swimming in a freezing location will immediately impact your health damage. Fast travel is disabled. There's no health regen. You need to sleep in a bed to level up. The amount of weight you can carry is significantly reduced. You can contract diseases from animals, and if you don't cure yourself, a disease can get worse. Shrines do not cure diseases for free. Instead, you have to make a gold offering. Extra pockets and steed stone will give you 50 extra carry weight, not 100. Becoming a vampire or a werewolf will slow down the time it takes to get cold. Also, you can restore your hunger by eating victims as a vampire or werewolf. So, all that is not really the important part. The one thing about this is the whole controversy revolving around the new Bethesda Creation Club shit that's been going around. So, with this new survival mode, at first glance, it costs on the service, it costs I think it's 800 coins, something along those lines. Normally, it cost 500 when they were showing the like kind of trailers to this thing. Now, we do know about with this Creation Club system, a lot of these mods are not free. They do have to be bought, and the way it works with the mods, we've talked about this a bit before with the modders and how they're getting basically reimbursed for their work is almost along the lines of a freelance position where they do the work, they receive a payment, and from what I have heard on the internet, it's that the way the payment will be given is based on the development progress with the mod. So you'll get paid a certain percentage of a lump sum right off the bat. And then as it goes through its development cycle, based on how far you make it in the development cycle, you're receiving the rest of that initial lump sum as you continue work on the mod. Now, on top of this, once it is made, since it's freelance work, the moment that the mod is made, you are removed from the mod, so you have no rights or no ownership of the mod. And it is put on the Creation Club system, and Bethesda owns it. You cannot make royalties off of it or nothing, which is usually what happens with freelance work. If you do freelance work for a company, you get paid a certain amount of money. They own any work that you did for them, and you can no longer receive any royalties or anything on that, which isn't inherently bad. It makes sense for what they're doing with this. It still sucks that they're charging for these mods, but it is a way for mod developers to get a lump sum. Again, it all depends how much money they're making off of this lump sum. And the final kind of nail in the coffin with this system, with this survival mod, it cost 800 coins, something along that line. Now, normally, in the way of the tiers that you buy coins on the Creation Club client, you can either buy 500. I think it's like 450. 750 and then like 1500 or something along those lines. So there's no way that you can buy exactly 800, right? So normally for 750 it costs you about $8. So if you were to buy the 750 pack, you would not be able to afford the survival mod. You would have to pay the next price range, which is the $15, in order to have enough coins to buy the survival mode. So you'd have to overspend, and then you'd have left over to get other mods. And I know some of you think, well, I'll have left over. But if all you want is a survival mode, there's no way you can just straight up buy that mode at its designated price. You have to overspend, which is how they make the money off of you. And then you just go through the rest and get the other piddly cosmetic bullshit or whatever they have on the Creation Club site. And so it just... everything about this sounds bad. The more I hear about it, it sounds worse. It seems like they're taking this all the wrong way, and I think it's going to cause a lot of negative PR for Bethesda, at least the ones working on all this Creation Club bullshit. So we'll see what happens going forward. They've been getting a lot of negative feedback for this. I want to see what they do moving forward. From what I've heard, it seems like they're kind of ignoring what people are saying to them. So I think the moment that this stuff comes live and they realize just how much money they're not making, I think their tone might change a bit. But it just sounds stupid. Survival mode, if you look at Fallout 4, it came for free in an update. They got survival mode. Instead of charging $15 because you cannot buy just 800 coins. You'd have to spend $15 in order to get the survival mode. So there's everything about it just screams stupidity. I coughed when I said that. Stupidity. So I don't like what it sounds like. I don't like the idea behind it. And if you're out there and this sounds like a good idea to you, I'd definitely look more into it, see how the distribution to the mods, the people making the mods and all this freelance work stuff's going around, before you really buy into this. Because like I said, they know they can make money off of Skyrim. They've been milking this game to death for the last fucking 10 years. When did Skyrim come out? 2009? 2010? No, 2009 was Halo 3. 2013, 2014, something like that. For the last couple of years, they've been milking the fuck out of Skyrim. And you can see that with all the additions that they've made. And again, I don't have a huge problem with that because it gives you more ways to play the game. And there's nothing that more people are getting than 2011. So it's been 6 years and they're still coming out with stuff for this game and they're still milking it. So I'd say definitely, we've said this before on the podcast, but vote with your wallet. Do some research into this before you go spending money on this stuff. Because again, this is something that we should not have to necessarily pay for because we've gotten it for free before. So why would they? It's just puts me in a tizzy. So Ken, you want to read the next article?
I'll read the last one.
The last one? Shawn, do you want to read an article?
Do I want to read an article? I suppose I could open that back up and pull up an article.
Well, you don't have to if you don't want to.
I'll read it then.
Oh, shit. Wait.
Stardew, is that one?
Yeah. Get hype.
Stardew Valley. That is a game that I am so looking forward to. Farming, that's my thing. Love farming. Publisher Chucklefish's CEO Finn Bryce stated on Twitter that the version has been approved. Stardew Valley for Nintendo Switch. Okay, so it's a Nintendo Switch version. Has been approved, and the company is working on finalizing a butt release date just last month.
Caitlyn's losing her shit.
Generally announced release dates until quite close to launch, when we are at least 95% certain that nothing will go terribly, terribly wrong. That the company just now is finalizing a release date must therefore mean the game is not far off launching. All versions of Stardew Valley will receive new multiplayer mode in 2018. Once it releases, players will be able to build up to 3 cabins. Is it cabins?
Yeah.
On their farms, each of which can house a friend.
Yeah.
These players will be able to do almost anything the main player can, including mining, foraging, taking part in festivals, and getting married.
You know what that means? Stardew Valley orgy. Yo.
Chucklefish says it hopes to begin beta testing multiplayer mode on Steam at the end of the year and plans to release the update in full on PC early 2018 to bring it to the Switch and other consoles after that.
What is this?
Nice.
Is this like Sims?
It's like, Sims but farming.
So like...
You remember the Harvest Moon series?
Fable?
No. Fable was like an action RPG. Do you remember the Harvest Moon series?
No.
Okay. If any of you out there listening, you remember Harvest Moon? That's pretty much what Stardew Valley's kind of banking on, that nostalgic feeling. It's a good game. I enjoyed it. I played a decent amount of it on PC, but the multiplayer was what's got me interested, especially if they do, when it does come to the Switch, because that'd be a game that'd be nice to pick up and play every once in a while you're on the go. I'd enjoy doing something like that. I don't know how that would work with the multiplayer, but it's not coming early 2018 like it is to the PC. But still, pretty cool stuff. It works just like Harvest Moon. You get a farm, you plant crops. There's a bit of an action stuff to it. When you go mining, you can fight monsters and stuff, which is cool. And you get married, do stuff. You have to like be careful about the crops you plant and all that other shit like that. And you basically run a farm, and it's a sim. But it's nice. It's got a very retro feel to the art. It's fun. I enjoyed it. I played a decent amount of it. Not too much. I still have it. I just haven't gotten back into it. If that's any type of red flag, you take what you will. So moving on to the next article, we got Caitlyn. What you got for us? Yeah.
Okay. Shadow of War's controversial DLC is going free. Publisher apologizes for confusion. Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment and
Monolith.
Thank you. Have apologized for their handling of Middle-earth Shadow of War's Forthog DLC, which is created to honor a developer who passed away last year and will now make the content free to everyone. Those that have already purchased the DLC will be refunded, and to meet the original intent of the DLC, the publisher will also donate to the family of Michael 4G. Get it? 4G. Monolith, right?
Monolith.
Okay, always intended.
I've already said this once. What does
Monolith.
it count? What does it count? Don't help her. What does it count?
Monolith.
Piece of shit.
Always
Love you too,
intended.
Bill.
Yes, always intended to give all profits from the DLC worldwide to the 4G family, but only plan to actively promote this donation in the U.S. This, it says, was in order to stay compliant with the laws of different territories, as by detailing where the funds from other territories were going, it, quote, could have triggered compliance obligations or put us in violations of cause marketing laws in some of the 241 territories in which content was available, unquote.
So basically, Warner Bros. Continues to fuck up Shadow of War. We've heard about it before, with the whole... It actually comes out, I think, in like a week. But we've heard about it before with the whole microtransaction thing with the gear, and they have like a loot box system in the single player that you can pay money into to get items that already exist in the single player. So they've been under a little bit of fire for that. And then now on top of this, they create this. It's called the Memorial DLC. It was $5, and they said that I think it was 30% of the $5 purchase would go to the family, because there's like a certain amount of fees that you use for transaction stuff on Steam. So they at least covered that, and then the rest of the money would go to his family. But the problem that they were having is because basically the stuff from worldwide purchases would not actually go to the family. All that would go straight into Warner Brothers' pocket. And then on top of that, they would only actively promote the donation within the US, which makes sense. They're kind of trying to, only kind of makes sense, but they're trying to mitigate, they're trying to do some damage control basically. But again, they've already fixed the issue. It's now free. And all it does is it makes basically the developer, it puts Michael Forgy into the game as one of the orcs. And he's apparently like one of the orcs you could put in your army. That's all it did. So in order to basically immortalize him within a game, that's what they did for him, because he worked on the production of the game. And it's just, it's more Warner Brothers most likely than Monolith fucking up, because that's just what Warner Brothers likes to do. I can't imagine Monolith screwing over their own developer. It's probably, but again, there's just been so much bad PR around this game with the stupid stuff that they've been doing. We'll see how it impacts their final sales. I never played the original. I don't know what the other one was called if it wasn't Shadow of War.
What happened to the family getting money then?
I don't know. Whatever money that has been made, they've already received, but they're just not gonna. I don't know. From what I read from the article and what I've seen in research, I don't know if if Warner Brothers is just gonna pay them a certain amount of money. But at this point, it's free DLC. So whoever downloads it can get it for free now. But before they weren't. It was only they only made 30% of the $5, which is what, like $1.80, almost $2, $1.60, $1.50. I don't fucking know, something along those lines for every download that happened, because the rest of it was they had like Steam charges for transactions and shit like that. But I don't really know what's happening to the family now, with money at least. Man, a lot of reading. So we have
gotta think, like, most families have 1 to 2 primary breadwinners, so they're down by one person right away.
Yeah,
which is devastating in and of itself.
It also depends on
kid, you know.
Yeah, it also depends on the at least. Well, yeah, it also depends on how big the life insurance claim was, or it does suck though. But I was always. Yeah. I always thought that the idea of immortalizing someone within a game was a really cool idea.
Borderlands was the first one I saw that did that.
Yeah, they did that with that fan, right? Or
yeah,
was that...
they put a character in that was a Vault Hunter that would show up every now and then and give you really good gear. And they made him look like the guy. But the thing that fucking upsets me is in the PS4 Borderlands, he's not in there. They cut him out. Like, I don't understand why he's not there. Because I haven't seen him show up once to give me gear. Because he's like, hey, I'm Michael, blah, 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 blah. And I just found this stuff, but it's really not useful for me. I already have stuff I need. So you can have it if you want it. And then he gives you gear. And it was always kind of cool because Gearbox wasn't asked to do that. They just decided to do it. You know, yeah. Gearbox used to be at one point in time the good guy video game developers. You know, they were always the ones doing just stuff because, you know.
Yeah, I like the idea a lot. I think that's cool. Although when it comes down to it, it'd be cool to have something like a statue or something. Although I know that seems like a big demand, because the video game will be here for a year and then be away. But even now, with like the advent of Steam and stuff, you could have a game forever and it will always work, especially on PC. With the way that we run everything now, everything being digital. So it's always cool to know that even as the kids or everyone underneath, or as the family grows or gets older, that they could always kind of revisit and see him at least somewhere. That'd be cool. I mean, again, it's a small thing, but it's still a nice thing. Moving on to our final article real quick. We have Destiny 2's first Bungie bounty announced, which sounds interesting. I don't know if they did this in the first game. I don't remember it ever happening. But they are releasing a new activity for Destiny 2 where they pick a player, basically, and give him a Bungie bounty. It does say returning from Destiny 1, but I don't remember this ever happening. It might have happened earlier on before I got into the game. But Bungie puts a virtual bounty on a player's head and challenges the community to hunt them down to earn a reward. In a blog post, Bungie confirmed that its professional streamer Giggs, I've never heard of him, who is being hunted. So basically, the way it is they get an emblem. That emblem will show up, and if you kill this person in a Crucible match over a certain period of time, a week later you will receive this emblem in the Postmaster. So you'll have this unique emblem that you only got because you were able to kill this one character in Crucible. And from what I read, it was being done on PS4. We missed the date though. It was like September 27th. It was among the period that I wasn't feeling good. I didn't feel like doing anything. So, but that is definitely cool. The emblem looked really cool too. And just imagine just having something that your friends don't have is nice. It's always a nice thing. So
it's when they did it before, they did it with Bungie staff members. A staff member would go online and play, and if you found them and killed them, you'd get their emblem.
Wasn't there also something?
We talked about it, dude.
Wasn't there something they did in Halo like that too? Where if you played in a game with another Bungie member, you'd get infected with a virus or something that you could pass on other people, and it would spread.
Fuck. I don't know.
I think I'm thinking about Pokerus.
What the hell?
I think I'm thinking about Pokerus, which was a thing in Pokemon where you can get a virus on your Pokemon, and what it does is it makes their growth twice as fast, so they get better EVs. And also I think they have better stats too, on top of better EVs. But you could like pass it on to other Pokemon. They usually would come in events. Like every once in a while, GameStop would do an event or something where you could go over there and turn on Street Pass with your DS and they drop Pokemon for you and stuff. Man, those were I never did one, but those were the days where like GameStop did all these events and shit like that. Where you could go like, oh, I was always a huge fan of the whole Street Pass thing. Especially, can you remember when we had that game? I think we still have it. But where you had like a little island that you could put your Miis on. Remember what that was called? I forget what it was called. Miitopia? Miitopia. Yeah. And we made like everybody we knew and put them in the game. And and they all lived on an island. And they like interacted with one another like Sim style. And they had the Street Pass function where you could walk by other people with their DS closed, and it would like share the character, so they'll come and visit your island. And I remember going to school with that shit when that game came out, like in college, and I walked around with my DS closed, and I had like fucking 40 something people get sent to my island, and I always loved the idea of that. I still am looking for like a cooperative Pokemon game. That's what I want so badly, and it'd be nice to see something like that. Remember, Caitlyn, even in Diamond and Pearl, Caitlyn? Remember where you could have two people and you could go in the underground area and run around together and do stuff? No. Oh, you don't remember that? That was a while ago. You remember Diamond and Pearl though, right?
Oh, of course.
God, that was a really good Pokemon game.
You know what the best Pokemon game is?
What's the best Pokemon game? I really like Emeralds. Moon?
I love Moon. I thought the new Pokemon games were just amazing.
They were good, and they looked the prettiest. I felt like they were a little bit too linear. But
Yeah. See? Can't you see why I love it so
He
much?
says that to the
Oh,
lover
shit.
of linear.
You're right.
Yeah, I love those. Damn, those games are so good. And they made everything like a lot easy. Like the interface was just a lot smoother.
That's a lot of the
You didn't have
complaints
to
that
press
people
as many.
have.
You didn't have to,
I do like the.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, they didn't like
Not
the
having
fact
to
that.
press as many buttons.
Oh,
They like pressing
I
more
thought you meant,
buttons
like
than
where
normal.
the game was easier because the game was.
The game was,
easier.
yeah, it was a lot easier. But I'm
Yeah.
saying like I don't know. It's just like a stupid thing. But when you would like go into the menu, you wouldn't have to push as many buttons to get to the things you need to get to.
That makes sense. And I like the fact that HMs were not connected to Pokemon anymore, so you wouldn't have to have one like HM whore that had like Rock Smash, Strength, Surf, all that shit.
Yeah.
So I love that. I thought that they introduced a lot of good ideas, but they did make it easier. And I felt like after you beat the game, there wasn't much to do besides the battle tree, which was in its own way good because it was like that first step into the competitive kind of idea of Pokemon. Like, oh, your Pokemon can only be this level. You can't have legendaries. And this is when moves and shit start to matter. This is when you have to build a team and you can't just blow through the game with your team being 30 levels higher than everything and just fucking annihilating everything in your path with stronger moves in Pokemon. You had to actually sit there and build a strong team and start EV training and shit like that. I never really got into that, but when we used to play with Chris, our next door neighbor, I used to do a lot of that. Remember when we used to sit all day and hunt for shinies in X and Y? I only ever got like 2 of them, but I've come across more shinies just playing the game on emulators than I have on fucking the actual games. I remember my first shiny was the blue Ponyta, and I got that on my phone emulator. And I'm like, shit, I can't show this, I can't save this ever, because if I get a new phone, it's fucking gone. I don't know how. I probably could have changed, transferred the save somehow. Man, Pokemon was fun, and I hope this new one coming to the Switch is just amazing. I'm so excited for like another AAA console style Pokemon game. Was that one we played on the GameCube, Ken?
Which one? Coliseum.
Coliseum was fucking awesome too. Another Pokemon.
Wasn't Coliseum also in 64?
No, that was Stadium. I think was 64. Stadium was where you kind of just like they had the mini games and shit. Coliseum had like its own story where you're like this dude that stole this gauntlet from Team Rocket's base where you could steal Pokemon from other people, which is something
game was so lit.
It was so weird.
Oh my god, it was so.
And you
good,
had like
though.
this weird Final Fantasy style like bike that you took the girl around on.
Yeah, the ship.
It felt very JRPG-esque the way it was. It was good though. I always thought the idea of stealing someone else's Pokemon was fucking awesome.
Awesome, right? Yeah. I mean, it was
like
bad.
it
was bad.
I mean,
But
it wasn't that bad because technically
evil.
their Pokemon was like inflicted with this shadow that you had to like take and cure them or some shit like that.
Yeah, but you can use can use it on like regular Pokemon.
No, you couldn't. They wouldn't let you.
Well, they wouldn't let you, but that's what they used it for originally.
Oh yeah. Your main.
It was a bad weapon.
You're fucking. Ken's like I'm in your ass now. How does this sound?
That's my thing, Kyle.
Okay, I'm not taking it. I'm just comparing it. Man, fucking Pokemon. I'm so excited for the Switch.
I was in class. Sorry, I didn't interrupt you.
No,
I actually apologize when I interrupt people. Anyways, but I was going into my music appreciation class. And I had like a Pokemon sweater. What?
It was the Pikachu one, right?
Yeah, I had like a Pikachu sweater.
And you had like all these guys coming to you with like glasses and they're like pushing the guys like, oh dude, that shirt's so cool. Like
my professor.
Fucking, did you know Pokemon's a shitty Pokemon? Or Pokemon. Pikachu's a shitty Pokemon. Like, he's not that good and like Ash is stupid and yeah.
Good. My professor, he was like, "Is that
dude like my blue eyes white dragon?"
Can you stop fucking interrupting me? Damn. Okay. Are you done?
Any more
shitty
any more
comments?
people I can make fun of? I think I'm out. Go ahead.
Okay, good. So my professor, he like looked at me. He looked at my sweater and he was like, "Is that anime?" And I was like, "Oh." He's like, "I'm gonna be discussing anime music in class today." I was
really?
like, "Fucking hell!"
Really?
Yeah, he covers like
what music did he talk about? You got me excited.
He didn't actually talk about
it. Oh,
that
fuck
day.
him.
He talked about Baby
Dude,
Metal. You know Baby Metal is?
I know Baby Metal is.
Yeah, I know who they are.
He was supposed to talk about it, but then someone had to like present a project. And
that's bull. I'd be so mad, dude.
I'd two Baby Metal
if he walked in and was like, "We're talking about anime music," I would have to go the whole class with my dick rock hard, and then he didn't discuss anime music.
Just, like,
and then
I would have just like played the Boku no Hero theme.
Well,
yeah, I think I'd have a heart attack and die right
He showed you guys an AMV or something. Fuck, man, that'd be me as a fucking college professor.
He showed like a video.
Oh man,
about this guy like teaching like how to scream.
Oh shit, that's cool. So how you supposed to use like your diaphragm and shit?
Yeah, so he shows like a lot of different stuff.
Yeah,
He showed like I wasn't there for it, but one day in class he showed like every single language in rap.
Oh, that's cool.
So he showed like Japanese rap. He showed like Indian rap, Taiwanese rap.
That's cool.
Bangkok rap.
Bangkok.
That's
cool.
Isn't that that's in Russia?
Bangkok? I thought that was Chinese.
You're trolling me, right?
No, Bangkok is Chinese, isn't it?
Dumb. Sorry.
It's not Russian.
Bangkok.
What was I gonna say?
Bangkok.
Bangkok is a Chinese city, isn't it?
Bangkok is not Chinese.
Thailand.
Oh, whatever. Fuck. Wow, look at that picture. That's so pretty. They're so small.
Bangkok.
What did I say?
Bangkok.
Bangkok.
Wait, what country did I say it was?
Dude,
off limits in this room. It's banned.
A 21-hour flight is $1,000 to get to Bangkok. Let's go, Caitlyn.
Wait,
we'll be there
what
tomorrow.
country did I say it was?
Bangkok.
You said Russia.
Russia.
Oh yeah, you said Russia.
Kind of sounds like Russia.
No, it doesn't.
Their script
kind
of
looks Russian. Like here I am trying to support you because you're my future waifu and everything, and you're doing stuff like Bangkok is in Russia. I don't know, man. It's
future
causes me.
When my first day of my music appreciation class, I just took it because I needed humanity. We walked in and he fucking played straight up. It was like death metal, and he's like, "Is this music?" And then we discussed it. It was so badass.
My professor showed "Sacrificing the Child."
That's the name of the band.
Yeah,
that sounds. Do they do like the thing that all metal bands do, where their logo to their band is all like squiggly letters and shit?
I don't know. He also, the band that they're like rappers and they put on like cloud makeup, and they're like
ICP.
Yeah, he showed them too.
I didn't even know.
They're weird fucks, let me tell you. They have some weird music.
Do they?
Yeah, you have to.
That reminds me of Hollywood
ICP,
Undead,
right?
kinda. That reminds me of Hollywood Undead, kinda. Because they wear like their masks.
They called them like there we go.
Oh,
insane clown posse.
That's
what it is. Yeah, they're like banned.
Damn, that dude.
Like the government considers them a terrorist organization.
It's fucking stupid. It's because their fans are so.
Yeah, it's because their fans are kind of at like.
Are they an insane
assholes.
clown posse?
I mean, look at that.
Here, go down. See that? Go down. See that? That's what I'm talking about with the metal logos, where they do like the blood letters and the squiggly lines and shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, their logos are terrible.
Yeah, I can't even read what's going on. I'm like, is that fucking Cyrillic or something?
Hex, something, but ICPs, they're really. There's nothing really all that weird about them. You're talking to musical pop culture.
Those popsicles?
Guys, so.
Yeah, they're eating themselves. Yeah.
That's so cool. This picture is insane clown posse are having an existential crisis.
My life. Anyways, so that's like the bulk of my fucking music appreciation class. Just put that out there for your viewing pleasure.
Dude.
Anyways.
What was that from? That was SNL, right? With Katy Perry and the Elmo shirt. She had to have been wearing like a push up. There's no way that's what her boobs actually look like. That's a push up. Fuck, man. Media's so fake. Yeah. The way they squish together, right? It's how they show on the top. That's how you can tell if it's a push up. Yeah. Because you can see they're being pushed up. Yeah. If a boob just hangs and it's hanging, like weight.
I can't tell. I just assume that they're real until
if you're in public and a lady's talking to you, she most likely has a push-up bra.
Excuse me, I've never worn a push-up bra in my entire life. So back off.
Ken's like, I don't need them with these mamma jammas.
Not with these beaches.
Oh man.
So that's Insane Clown Posse.
Insane Clown Posse.
Everyone
that was your.
Google them.
I'm pretty sure whoever's listening probably knows.
Yeah, they probably know. Become their fans. Yeah, this is the song we listen to in class. What is a juggalo?
No, don't play it. Caitlyn, we're gonna hear it. Get out of here. Stop
Sorry.
it.
Listen to that.
What
at
is
home,
going
everybody.
on? Okay.
Oh, that's my homework.
Nice. It's due by 11.
11:59.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
We got like an hour and a half.
10:30 right now. I mean 9:30 right now. I have
Oh.
time.
I don't think we have enough time to go over our main topic. Just because I want to keep this a 2-hour episode instead of going over.
What can we talk about?
You should always just have discussions about favorite horror movies or something, since it's spoopy time.
We can, since that technically is our main topic that we discussed.
It's gonna be part 1, but part 2 is gonna be like.
Part 2 is going to be
Serious.
on Halloween, and that's going to be all dedicated to the spoop. There'll be no news. It'll just be us talking about the spoops. And then I really hope I could get the webcam to work by then, because I'd love to have video on that episode.
Well, I mean it's 4 weeks away, so.
I know, but I'm stuck at a point where I either have to roll back my operating system or wait for Windows to fix it, and they haven't fixed it yet.
Just get another fucking webcam.
They all operate the same way. It's because of Windows 10 that they don't work. It's not because of Logitech. From what I've seen, but there's people that use webcams, so they might have rolled back their Windows, which isn't necessarily a horrible thing to do. It's just annoying. I don't fucking hate it. You guys don't want to see our ugly ass faces anyway. You only see whoever's at my house.
You can see my face any day.
Aw, that's so nice.
I got a nice face. So.
All right. How about instead of horror movies, because that can kind of drag on. Maybe one of your top horror experiences while you went trick or treating. It doesn't have to be a horror. It doesn't have to be scary, but it's just something you remember. Something you remember that you went trick or treating, like you went with a family.
Can I go first?
Yeah.
All right. So, like a long time ago, we used to have neighbors that lived next door, and we used to be like really good friends with them. They were our age.
Oh yeah.
And
that's Chris.
Like when we were Chris and
Josh,
and we like, dude, every Halloween we would get these big ass like pillowcases. And we'd walk all around. We'd walk around this neighborhood twice, and we couldn't go across the street because our parents wouldn't let us. And it was really sad because they always had haunted houses over there, and we couldn't go. To haunted houses.
The other fucking neighborhood was so lit.
They were lit, and like it was across the street partying, and our neighborhood was like the grandmas.
The grandmas.
Our neighborhood's like full of grandmas.
Yeah, no one ever fucking decorates in our neighborhood. Are we gonna decorate this year?
Yeah, we're decorating.
Okay.
This year for sure.
I'm down to decorate.
But like across the street, they'd have like parties. They'd have like legitimate haunted houses that you could walk through.
Like Antony's party that we went to that one time.
And it was really sad, but we made the most of it. So we would go around the block and we'd fill up our fucking pillowcases.
Yeah, just because no one decorated didn't mean they didn't participate. There were always people giving out candy. You just had to find the right houses.
So then when we were done, we'd come to our house and then we would sit there and we'd like
just trade candy. Yeah,
for like an hour.
Yeah,
and then at like 10 o'clock, my parents kicked them out.
Oh man, it was always on a school night though, which sucked.
I think this year it's like a
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Oh shit!
Who fucking cares?
I'm not going to class.
I don't
Fuck
work
that.
on Tuesdays.
I'm skipping school that day. You heard it here first, kids. Skip class. All right. What about you, Shawn? You got something that you remember from doing trick or treating, even like as a young kid? Something that you did.
I don't remember. I remember dressing up as certain things, but I don't remember anything remarkable besides standard trick or treating shit. All my weird shit happened like near the end of high school or adulthood, going to parties and shit on Halloween. That was when the weird shit happened.
The weird shit, like the hardcore drugs and.
No, like that fucking thing in the trees that followed us, or
what?
That shit that popped up in the middle of that field that caused like 13 of us to go running.
What?
That weird shit.
Like people just fucking around, or like legitimate, like you thought you were gonna die?
No, like weird ass phenomena, dude. Fucked up shit just happens to me when I'm out in groups or by self. Like things, things just happen.
From those two events you described, which one were you closer to pissing yourself? I want to hear about that one.
I did. Well, it would have been that thing in the trees, but I didn't notice it at first. I mean, I noticed it, but did that whole like giving it a scientific. I'm like, oh no, it just looks like there's a face in the trees, and it just looks like I don't. It's and then when it finally I started actually seeing, and then I got the one that really got me was the one that made us run like a half a mile. It was a group of us, and it was on All Hallows Eve, and we all went walking around.
Just say Halloween.
Good old Hallows Eve. When the witches came out and the
no, there were no. We were in a town of quote witches end quote. We were in Casadega, but we went out in the middle of nowhere. We didn't go to the Devil's Chair, and Casadega is supposed to be a fairly
haunted
major ley line nexus for this area.
Man, Shawn gets lit
nothing
on
ever really happens there.
Wow, we don't get lit on Halloween. Shawn gets so lit on Halloween. I'm jealous.
Anyway, we went to. There was like 13 of us, and we went out to this field, and there were the two lesbian, witches that what I would call them now is internet witches. They came up with this idea that they got from the internet to try. Only in this case, they didn't get it from they got it from old school internet.
Like those kids in school that be like, don't go in your closet at 3 a.m. and with a candle, and like all that shit. Yeah, all that kind of shit. Yeah,
it was like there was like two girls like that. Yeah, and they were fashionably lesbian. I think one of them's married to a car salesman now or some bullshit.
Okay,
that's a sad living.
What?
Yeah, but God. The long and the short of it is two girls were doing some sort of ritual that they didn't understand. They found a piece of it in a book, and they looked up a piece of it on like a BBS, and what the fuck ever.
Those were the days
with
the internet not being as good as it is. Well, those are the days with the internet not being as good as it is. If you did find something, that's like...
You really didn't know where it came from.
You're like, shit, man. We're fucked.
Well... The general theory was that they found something that may have been at least partially real, but because they weren't authentically anything at that point in their lives, that they kind of fucked it up or something.
Okay.
But they were doing something with like some chalk and some rocks and incense and candles and bullshit, and I have no idea what they were doing because I was hanging out with Big Gay Brian, and I was trying to talk to this girl, Christine.
Oh, man. Trying to slip it in. On Hallows Eve.
Oh, God. Wait a minute.
Give her the good old Halloween. The Hallows Eve dickin'. I was
legitimately trying to talk to this girl. And then Fonz, who's like this kind of French, looking dude. He looks like, if you blow, if you just sneeze, you'd knock him over. He's like thin and willowy and way too pretty for a man.
Okay.
Fonz ran off and decided to start climbing trees on the left because it's think of like a large circular field, right, surrounded by trees. Well, Fonz runs off on the left side and starts climbing trees because he's fucking drunk and weird.
Okay.
And then he runs off to the right and decides that he's going to go get stoned in the woods.
Okay.
And go for a walk.
Sounds like typical horror movie bullshit.
Everyone was pretty much just clustered there, like smoking cloves or just dicking around, not really doing much.
Okay.
We're all looking in the middle of the field where there's this little pine tree growing right in the middle or close to the middle. And we're just talking and goofing off and not really doing anything constructive. And as the night goes on, it's extremely strange because the woods start getting darker and darker and darker to where we can't make out any details, including that little tree that's out in the middle of the field. And I don't remember how much time we spent there just talking shit and whatever, and me trying to get this girl's attention. But Brian asked me if I saw the tree move. And I'm like, what? And so I turn, and we're all staring at the tree now, and it seems like it's getting bigger.
Okay.
And then it seems like it's moving closer to us. And then we hear the girls chanting in unison some sort of creepy ass.
What the fuck? I'd be out of there in a second.
Like multiple girls doing a Hail Mary. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. If you hear
Caitlyn
doing that, it's creepy, right?
You know what you reminded me of, Shawn? Remember when we went? Did you go with us to? Was it Zoe's wedding?
No.
No, you didn't.
I was at Richard's
Holy
wedding.
shit, Shawn! You just gave me this immense flashback of terror. We were at Zoe's wedding.
Wait, let him finish, Kyle.
Okay. I was gonna say I don't want to forget, but I'll let you go, Shawn. Shit.
Anyway, when people are chanting things in unison,
That's never a
it
good
has
sign.
an effect, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of times, certain rituals require you to chant in unison, so on and so forth. Well, these girls I didn't even notice that the whole time we've been goofing off, they've been doing something. And their voices are slowly getting louder, and they're holding hands and swaying in unison and saying this shit. And I don't know what they're trying to do, but the mass effect is that everyone starts getting creeped out, and their voices are getting louder, and then our vision starts to darken, and everyone had the same experience. We all saw something slightly different, but we had a fucking experience. Now, Steve didn't see shit because he was out in the fucking woods, and Fonz was drunk and high climbing trees. So neither of them were in this sphere of influence. But what Brian, myself, Christina, and the rest of the group that were there all saw this tree move. Only it didn't look like a tree anymore. It was just this black lump. And by the time it got halfway between where it was originally and where we were, we started seeing details. And to me, what it looked like to me was, you ever seen a Spanish bayonet, the plant?
No.
Okay, well, palm fronds, right? Imagine if palm fronds were hard.
Okay.
Like they were spines.
Okay.
Now, take something roughly the size of a warthog or a large wolf, and instead of it having fur, give it spines like that.
Okay.
Right? So there's this four-legged thing with these sharp spines, but it has no head. It's like the head's cut off, and where the neck is, it's just lined with teeth.
Okay.
That's what I saw.
All right.
Now, in the darkness, my eyes just made that out. And then right when I made it out and I started to say, that thing doesn't look right, it bolted at us, and I fucking turned around and ghosted the shit out of there. I grabbed Christine by the wrist, and she was flying in the air like a fucking shirt behind me as I'm hauling ass a half mile back to the cars. And the funny thing is Brian is notoriously Big Gay Brian was fat as fuck, and he passed me.
Oh, shit.
Like, all you hear is... and like his big ass fucking feet just thump, 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 and he trucked past me, dove in the back of someone's car, and covered himself up with a blanket, and everyone else came back. The last two stragglers were Fonz and Steve, who wanted to know what the fuck happened because they came back to the spot and nobody was there, and it felt kind of weird, so they left. And the two witches, fucking nobody saw them run back. But they got there before Steve and Fonz did. They were just standing there when we all turned around. Like, they're like, that was weird. I don't think it was supposed to go that way. And then they just kind of wandered off and got in their car and left. And I'm like, what the fuck? And that was pretty much how that night ended, was all of us going, I think we're going to go home and maybe find God again.
Nice.
Forget about this experience.
Because it was fucking bizarre. Nobody could explain what we saw. We tried saying it was this or that or something weird. Nobody could figure it out, but we all saw something somewhat similar but still different. And I am pretty sure that my mind was playing tricks on me with all like, it's got no neck, it's got a mouthful of teeth, it's running at us, it's a carnivorous plant. I don't really know what happened, but that was one of the many weird things that happened to me.
Interesting. Well, you reminded me of this. We went to Caitlyn did not go, but we went to, me, my mother, my father, and my other sister, or my half-sister. We went to go to my cousin's wedding, and it was out on, like, this water kind of thing. And it was just, like, it looked really nice. It was, like, almost looked like something from, like, a New Orleans kind of, like, beach house kind of thing. That's the feeling it gave me. I don't know if that's exactly right, but it looked really nice. But it was like late as hell, and we were all getting ready to leave. I think it had to be at least like 12 to 2, sometime around there. And we were all getting ready to leave and get back in the car. And while we were leaving, we heard it had to be at least like between 5 and 15 women, all like saying something in unison very loudly, like down the road. And it being just like in the middle of the fucking night, it was one of the most like surreal fucking things. It was so weird because it was probably a church. I don't know why they'd be doing it this late, practicing hymns or something. But the way it sounded and the way it carried through the air, and the fact that we were like not connected to any fucking roads or anything like that, and just separated from like civilization in a way, like out in the woods, it is just like the weirdest thing. It felt like almost practically like a coven kind of thing coming for us. It was the weirdest feeling. That wasn't the spookiest thing that's ever happened. I've done spooky things. I talked to you guys about the fact that when I was younger, I used to sleepwalk, and every once in a while, I'd sleepwalk into the doorway of my parents' room, and I'd just stand there and watch them as they slept, and then I'd go back in my room and sleep. And I would do it, they say, anywhere between 5 to 15 minutes of me just standing there, and my mom would call out my name, and I wouldn't respond. I'd just stand there and look at them, but I'd be sleepwalking.
I would have shot you with a shotgun.
Yeah.
And then I'd just go back to sleep.
That's the scary part.
But I've never woken up in the middle of this, but I've had times where I've woken up after something's happened. She'd also say I'd go and dig like frozen vegetables out of the freezer and eat them. So one time I went to sleep in my bed, and I woke up on the couch downstairs with like a bag of frozen peas ripped open and just all over me. And I was like laying in like squished peas and shit like that. And I just walked my ass back upstairs and like cleaned my mess. But it's just, I had times where I'd sleepwalk, and they said I spooked them because I just kind of stand. I was like between like the optimal spooky age for like if a kid's doing this. I think I had to be between like 10 and 14. So something where like that's not something you want to see your child doing because it kind of freaks you out. So, but they said I really gave them kind of a fright with that.
I understand.
I'd be spooked too. My kid just kind of not even saying anything, just like walked up and stood there and watched me and be like, fuck that. I would not shoot them with a shotgun, but...
No, I would shoot you with a shotgun.
Damn.
This is why we love you. I've walked in on some strange rituals and things like that before, and it is unnerving, especially if you're not prepared for it. But anytime people are saying things in unison or doing something, I don't know, I wouldn't say otherworldly, but
just cultish.
It's very disorientating to walk in on something like that.
Disorientating.
Yes.
Disorienting.
Yeah. I was going to say that didn't sound right. Oh, man. I'm excited. All this talk. What we should do is for our Halloween episode. Halloween's on Tuesday. We're going to have to record it on the weekend, and I'll get it out on Tuesday so people can listen on Halloween. But we need to all pick like a scary story or come up with our own and just share them on the podcast. That should be our main topic. I like that idea. That'd be cool. Something along those lines. Maybe get more people than usual. Hopefully more than 3 before Mr. Jonathan abandons us. We haven't had Antony on in a long time. I know he's working. Tyler said he was going to come, but he lost his wallet and he's been looking for it. So I don't know if he's found it. But that sucks. But we still did good. Again, this episode is just the start of this month of the spook. So there's not much else we can really do. We did have some. What happened? We did have something planned, but we'll save it for a later time. But that is our 2-hour mark. We're a little bit over. That's not a big deal at all. And again, thank you all for tuning in and dropping by to say hi. If you do want to connect with us, all those options will be in the description below. You'll have links to all of our socials, stuff that we do run for the podcast. And, yeah. Do you guys have some sign off for our lovely listeners? I know what Shawn's going to say, but what about you, Caitlyn?
Have a good week.
What about you, Shawn?
Hugs and kisses and all your pink parts.
And, yeah. And we will see you next week at the same bat time. Same
What?
bat channel.
What?
I don't know. I'm thinking of fucking
done?
something. I'm thinking of something. Yeah. Again, we love all you guys. The small niche community that we do have. We do love you guys. And feel free to check out our other content. If you are listening on podcasting services, come drop by YouTube. Drop a subscribe. Maybe look at some of the other things we do. And again, we also stream. So you got plenty of ways to get content from us. And as always, this community, or this podcast, will continue to go every week. So, unless something incredibly bad happens, like Irma or something. So, thank you all for listening, and you guys have a good week.